All right? People, let's talk about China. Specifically, let's talk about whether China is watching us. Instead of hiding under our desks from nuclear bombs, we're worried about our phones spying on us. Are these fears justified, or are we just being paranoid? Let's dive into the evidence. China's technological rise has been remarkable, with companies like Huawei and TikTok becoming household names. But this progress comes with a catch. The Chinese government isn't exactly known for its commitment to free speech and privacy. Are these tech companies truly independent? Or are they just extensions of the Chinese government, collecting data on us? Let's be real. TikTok is addictive. Those endless scrolling videos, the catchy dance challenges, it's like digital crack. But beneath the surface, there are serious concerns about TikTok's data collection practices and its ties to the Chinese government. TikTok is owned by ByteDance, a Chinese tech giant. According to US officials, ByteDance is legally obligated to share data with the Chinese government if requested. That means everything you do on TikTok could potentially end up in the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. TikTok swears they haven't and won't ever share user data with the Chinese government. But how can we be sure? The Chinese government isn't exactly known for its transparency. The potential for the Chinese government to access the data of millions of Americans through TikTok is unsettling. Remember that time back in 2015 when the US Office of Personnel Management, OPM, got hacked? Over 20 million government employees' personal data, including fingerprints, were compromised. And guess who was behind it? You guessed it, China. Now, China denied any involvement, of course. But US intelligence officials were pretty sure it was them. This wasn't just some random hack. This was a sophisticated operation, likely carried out by state-sponsored actors. The OPM hack was a wake-up call. It showed us that China is willing to go to great lengths to steal our data. And it exposed the vulnerabilities in our own cybersecurity infrastructure. Then there's Huawei, the Chinese tech giant at the center of a global espionage controversy. The US government has accused Huawei of installing backdoors in its equipment, allowing the Chinese government to spy on our communications. These incidents highlight a worrying pattern: China's willingness to exploit our technology for its own gain. So, we've talked about data breaches and espionage. But there's another, more subtle way China could be using its tech to influence us, through the content we consume. Platforms like TikTok have an incredible amount of power to shape public opinion. They decide what videos we see, what trends we follow, what information we're exposed to. If those platforms are beholden to the Chinese government, that's a pretty scary thought. It's not outside the realm of possibility that the Chinese government could use its influence over TikTok to promote its own agenda or suppress dissenting voices. And it's not just TikTok. Chinese-owned apps and platforms are becoming increasingly popular all over the world. We need to be aware of this and start asking ourselves some tough questions about the content we're consuming. So, is China really watching us? The short answer is maybe. We don't have definitive proof that the Chinese government is actively spying on us through our phones and apps, but we do know that they have the capability to do so, and we know that they've done it before. The OPM hack, the allegations against Huawei, the concerns about TikTok, these aren't just conspiracy theories. These are real issues, backed up by real evidence. Look, I'm not saying we should all throw away our smartphones and move to a cabin in the woods. But we do need to be aware of the risks. We need to be careful about the information we share online. And we need to demand more transparency from tech companies, both Chinese and American. We live in a world where convenience often trumps privacy. We want our apps free, our information readily available, our lives seamlessly integrated with the digital world. But what are we willing to give up for that convenience? Every time we download a free app, we're making a trade-off. We're exchanging our data, our browsing habits, our personal information for the convenience of that app. And in many cases, we don't even realize we're making that trade-off. The terms and conditions are long and convoluted. The privacy policies buried deep within the app's settings. We click agree without a second thought, eager to get to the good stuff. But those agreements, those policies, they matter. They dictate how our data can be collected, used, and shared. And when it comes to Chinese-owned apps, the stakes are even higher. So, the next time you're about to hit that download button, think twice. Look, I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm not saying China is the boogeyman out to get us. But we do need to be aware of the realities of the digital age. We need to be aware of the ways in which our data can be collected, used, and potentially exploited. This isn't about being anti-China. It's about being pro-privacy, pro-security, and pro-transparency. It's about demanding better from our tech companies, holding our governments accountable, and taking control of our digital lives. Stay informed, my friends. Read those privacy policies. And most importantly, stay woke.